The Say Something podcast is brought to you by amomentwithmorris.com and blackblueprints.com. That's blackblueprints with a Z.com. I'm Jermaine Morris here with the one and only Mr. Berry Accius.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bringing the newest episode of the Say Something podcast.
Say something. Say something.
It's where we get together and talk about whatever's going on out here in the world, out here in this life, out here in these streets. Something that we feel that not only us, but everybody should be saying something about.
Most definitely. Say something.
So we just coming off the holidays, at least the part of the holiday season. We still got New Year's, but it was Christmas last weekend. How was your holidays, Mr. Accius?
I don't celebrate, and I'm happy I don't celebrate. And I'm just not into it. You know, I don't care for it. I'm happy that my daughter's grown, and I don't have to fall into the hoopla. I think that we get too set into looking at what is the season of buying love, the season of trying to get the most expensive gift, the season of like pretending, you know, there's so much joy and you're breaking your neck to get gifts for people that don't deserve it, or to make people feel happy, or when you don't got it, then to be broke. And the funny thing about the holidays like Christmas, you got what? December 25th, right?
Yeah.
And then 6 days later is what?
New Year's Eve.
Okay, New Year's Eve. Let's say 7 days later is what?
Start of the new year.
But what's that?
January 1st.
And what's that mean?
That it's just the first day of January?
No, it means you're paying your goddamn rent that day, or your mortgage that day. Okay? So I'm not into blowing a whole bunch of money, knowing damn well what's going to wait for me. And for most people, we won't get paid on the 1st. You get paid on the 5th. And most rent is, or mortgage is, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah.
So it's all ass backwards. And I don't play into it. I don't get into the hoopla. The funny thing, I thought statistically, this is probably one of the better years for consumerism, in a sense of the retailers have come up like fat rats.
Yeah.
Because they said, a reporter's like, they tripled the numbers they did last year. So in the sense of people being in an uproar about Trump, being in an uproar about all this inequality, and you know, I know that a lot of African Americans have been pushing this, distribute the pain, and you know, I think it might have been successful maybe last year or the year before about not spending, you know,
boycotting,
whatever, the boycotting BS. It's right back to the same old shit. Like, people don't really care. Like, people really don't give a damn. It's just like we've been clogged on this Santa Claus bullshit, this entertainment factor of commercialism in this holiday, still falling in this hoopla about Jesus was born on this day. People still saying this is the reason in the season, all this BS. It's just so commercialized, and it's to the point where it's like, dude, if you're celebrating your family and you're going to buy your wife a gift and your kids a gift on one damn day, you're trying to break your neck to buy them like all these gifts that you can't afford on one day, kill yourself.
I think it was no eggnog and stockings at your house.
Bruh,
at the
like,
house.
I don't have trees, eggnog. Don't tell me Merry Christmas. I tell people when they try to text me, and some people still text me, and I respectfully say, you know, I appreciate it, but I don't celebrate holidays. And here's the craziest thing. Like, I talked to OG just by passing. He said, "Happy holidays, brother." And I said, "OG, I don't do the holidays." And OG was just like, he snapped. It was like, yeah. And broke it down like he was excited. Like, I don't have to play that fake shit. You know what I'm saying? So he broke down, you know, how fake it was. And he ain't been celebrating since 1951. And it's just all a lie. And it is what it is. I mean, I respect something when you call it what it is. Don't call it anything else. Okay. I'm just so done with Christmas music. So done with the caroling. So done with the remixes. I'm done with the sweaters. I'm done with it all. I'm done, bro.
No ugly sweater parties.
Nah, because you know what? Because in real time, like here in our Sacramento city alone, you had two major situations. Well, it's major to me, but I guess it's not as much for, you know, some people and for the media. We had two mothers that got killed, dog, in the matter of months in December. You know, one recently just passed away on Monday, right? and they have 2 children that wasn't able to celebrate, wasn't able to see Santa Claus come down the chimney because there's not such a thing. You know what I'm saying? And what we did was, now we're helping these families out, making sure that we take care to help the kids and not really give toys, but at the end of the day, give them clothes and things of that nature, but rally around this family in their time of need. But real stuff is going on. Like, I just got back from Southern California, man. And, you know, I always make sure I spend time with my daughter, you know what I'm saying, and just do what I have to do as a man, because fatherhood is 24 hours and 365 until death do us part. You know, it's real. And, you know, I was out there in LA, downtown, in the fashion district, and I literally saw, like, tent cities, like, all around the corners, and it was crazy that even our homeless people are still trying to be in a sense of Christmas joy and Christmas time. They had a Christmas tree, dog.
Well, I think for some people, that's their, like, personally, I don't celebrate, but I think that for some people, that's their hope. That's what they got to lean on. I'm a firm believer. I say all the time, I am not the person to knock what gets you through the day. So if praying to a cross, praying to a star, praying to a bottle cap, a lucky penny, if that can keep you off a ledge, then I'm gonna personally say more power to you. Who am I to tell you that what brings you hope or put something in your heart? I do agree with you on the commercialism side, like how it's just all about how much they can sell, and a lot of people who talk about tis the season and look out for your fellow man and care, typically gloss over problems this time of year. This is where depression is at all-time high. Like, this time of year, suicide is huge.
But why?
Well, because what this does is it shines light on what you do or what you don't have. So this is the time of year when everybody tells you you're supposed to be with your loved ones. You're supposed to be with your family. It's about and if you don't have one, you can be lonely in June, but you're real lonely in December.
And depressed like a mug.
You know what I'm saying? You can miss not talking to your kids, your parents in August, but it really gets you in December.
And you know what? And you're right, because psychologically, it plays so many emotional games because you hear the music. You're looking at the ornaments. And I'm not going to front. I like looking at the lights. I like that. I think that's kind of spectacular. I think it's neat. I wouldn't personally do it, but I think it's neat how people
decorate. Some people are very creative out there.
Very creative people. So I don't knock those things. I would never personally do it, and I won't, go into the foolery of it. But at the same time, I think it's dope. Even when Halloween, I think it's kind of exciting, creative people doing their thing. But I'm not invested in it, and I don't care about it, because every single day I celebrate like it's a holiday, because I'm living, I'm breathing, I'm thinking, I'm talking, and I can influence. And my whole thing is, if I'm going to shower my love to my people, it should be 24 hours a day, not just here is December 25th. And then I'm not going to go buy into the BS about it was Christ's day of living and he was born. Like, stop all that craziness, man. And stop giving the white man in a red suit who's being sledded on reindeers all this credit for the stuff that you did.
Yeah, that's something that a couple of things so to me personally, I never grew up celebrating Christmas. So I know some people, they did it till they were kids or teenagers or they're adults. So it really has zero relevance. Like Christmas music, the lights and stuff, there's nothing. It's the same. People ask me like, well, don't you miss this or do you think about that? I was like, well, do you think about Hanukkah? And they're like, no. I said, what happens if you walk past somebody who's got like the little menorah thing? Does that make you feel a certain kind of way? No. Okay, well, same thing. If it's not a part of your belief system, it just doesn't hit your radar one way or the other. But I do look at how people are, and that's the one thing that would really sit out with me is like, okay, well, if it's love your fellow man and look out for each other and feed the homeless and help the kids, all that from roughly November 15th to literally January 2nd.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, okay, man, help them out, help out the vets, help out the kids, these homeless people because it's freezing outside. Just a heads up, it's cold January 15th like it is December 15th.
Yes, sir.
But January 15th, we tell them to get a job and get it together.
Yeah.
March 12th, we tell them he must be on drugs. April 13th, he just made bad choices. You know, May 22nd is, you know, we don't care as a people, as a society. And, you know, I just think that, you know, coming out of these holidays, I'll be happy when they're past. I'll be happy next week when kind of the system levels itself back out, the market levels itself back out. Because then that's when you're talking about paying bills, the financial struggle. Because what a lot of people don't realize is they've been spending money since Halloween.
Yeah, man.
So between candy, costumes, decorating the house.
No. Let's go back up.
Okay.
You forgot another key important a moment, and not a holiday, but it's paraded around as if it's such a holiday to spend.
What's that?
Back to school shopping.
Yeah, but I'm talking
August and September. I'm talking about when you were talking about spending money.
Yeah,
they've been spending money since September.
Well, no, okay, yes they have, but I'm talking by and large across the board. So there's a percentage of people who have kids who that applies. No, just hear it out first.
Everybody spends money on back to school, dog. I don't care if you don't have no kids or have kids. People are spending money because it's. What I'm saying is, I hear what you're about. I know. I feel where you're about to go with it. I'm just saying that now they have created that as like another moment of consumerism, spending. It's not a holiday per se, but it's almost a day of like, guess what? You got to go to the mall. You got to get new clothes. You got to get some school supplies. I mean, but shit is crazy.
The difference of how I look at that is because when it goes into Halloween, that's excessive spending to the point of you're decorating your house. That's the costumes that you wear. That's the food that you're having in your house, as well as the stuff that you're giving away to people at the door, the parties that people are having, the functions that they're going. Like, there's a lot of multiple spending from Halloween. Then you go into Thanksgiving. Massive grocery shopping. Everybody coming over. The turkeys, the hams, I mean, now I went to the grocery store a couple weeks ago and I spent $100 and I didn't have but two little bags. Damn near. Like it don't take much. I remember being a kid. $100 was filling the house up with groceries.
Remember?
It don't take much to hit $100 no more.
Like remember when $100
was grocery shopping?
Like remember when $100 was grocery shopping?
Yeah, now you just picking up a few things. $100 now, you picking up a few things. So when you think about Thanksgiving dinner, depending upon the size of your family, that's $400-500 of food. You know, so then that's coming off of your Thanksgiving, and then what's Christmas? It's not even the day after Thanksgiving anymore. It's Thanksgiving night. Christmas shopping. The stores open. They let the Walmart employees get a little dinner, and they got to be on the job by 5. Best Buy, line wrapped all the way around the building. And so then you're spending on all this Christmas stuff, which segues into your New Year's Eve party, your locations, or wherever you go. Then January 1st rolls around, and your rent is due, and then you get your credit card statements.
Ooh-wee.
And then people wonder why their tax return is gone before February 1st.
Man.
You know, that's just my little thing.
I mean, and then you were waiting for tax returns. I think that it's, you know, we can agree and disagree on the moment it starts, but I feel like it starts in literally August, because that's where a lot of schools go back into now. From August, we can argue September, all the way up until that last day of December, that we're just in a constant shopping frenzy. We're in constant mode of gotta go shopping, gotta be here, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do that. And it got everybody all discombobulated. And then reality hits in 2017, where everybody's asking for 2016 to slow down, get the hell away, and be over with.
Yeah, well, 2016 is, I think, one of
the year in review.
Well, I think a lot of, like, I've seen the little memes on the internet where they talk, if 2016 was a person, they got that picture of Suge Knight, like, circa, like, 96, 97 Suge Knight.
When he was that scary Suge Knight.
When he was gangster Suge Knight.
Yeah, not getting knocked out Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Not being blind Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Not falling and collapsing in the court Suge Knight.
Nah, they're talking about Death Row Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And 2016 is... 2016 been a beast, like between, you know, who our new president-elect is to, I mean, the Grim Reaper has been working overtime, working through Hollywood.
No, I mean, true that. You know what? I look at 2016 as like this. I'm very blessed, but my people are stressed. So in then terms, I'm not fully blessed. Yeah. Because, I mean, when I look at 2016 for myself, individually, like doing the things that I've done, I've accomplished a whole lot. Goals. I've proceeded to jump over some of the things that I didn't even think that I was going to even accomplish. So I've accomplished a lot, did a lot of goals have been, checked off. A lot of things that I didn't think that I was going to do so soon have been checked off. But when I lost a young soldier, that was heavy. And then the simple fact that all of the heaviness from our community that we've had to deal with overall daily, I think that it takes away from me to be able to celebrate my own individual accolades because we're in such a disarray.
Okay.
And then at the same time, I've lost some personal favorites. Apollonia. I mean, not Apollonia.
Vanity.
Goodness gracious. I was like, ugh. You got your Princes. You got your David Bowies. You got those. You got those people that have come. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Harris. The dude was a funny.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, but the great one. So you have those moments because I get, in a sense, you're looking at those people because you've grown up with a lot of those people.
Yeah.
Not saying that you personally knew a lot of those people, but I'm not in an uproar where it's like, okay, oh my God, 2016, everyone's posting up memes, everyone's posting up some type of response to like leave Betty Williams or Betty White alone and all this other craziness. Like seriously, y'all, no disrespect to the dead, but Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, she died. And now everyone's acting as if like they was worried about her
2 weeks ago.
Up until that she revisited the big screen in the new Star Wars. No one was checking for Carrie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's not be so to the point where y'all are just so amazed.
I don't remember the last person to say anything about George Michael.
Listen.
I don't remember the last person who was checking for Alan Thicke. And now we're singing Faith. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody who was checking for Alan Thicke.
And now we're singing Faith. Yeah. Now we're singing I Will Be Your Father figure. You know what I'm saying? George Michael was a great artist. No doubt. But we're getting so caught up in the people that have entertained us for a moment in time that kind of some currently, like Kimbo Slice was doing his thing and he ended up dying, like kind of out the blue, and some that was just kind of making their comeback or were just in obscurity. So let's kind of, like, it's no disrespect to the dead at all. I'm not saying, but let's have some content to what we're doing. I think that we always jump on the bandwagon of all these moments. Okay. Right? Like, I was like, okay, now this has probably been the first year with social media that we've had this many string of celebritantes passing away. Well, but is it really that big of a deal?
Well, currently, for people who are considered celebrity, and that's kind of A through B, probably the C list.
And reality.
Well, like solid celebrities currently, 130. In 2016.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So that's why it seems like it's like damn, like every time you turn on the TV, it's somebody. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. 130 notable celebrities in one given year is quite a bit. But I think that when we're looking at the end of the year, going into the new year, everybody's going to have their New Year's resolutions, their new year, new me. Everybody's getting ready to take advantage of their 24-hour memberships for about 6 weeks, and then go ahead and just let it take your money every month, and you ain't gonna be back till 2018. Maybe you may drop in there once in June, trying to get your summer body right for 6 days. I think that we got to look at where we're at as opposed to necessarily where we're going. Like, there's a lot of people who want to talk about what the new year's going to bring, and everybody, they were supposed to slay 2016. They supposed to be savages in 2017. But where are we at now? Like, forget where we're going to be at next week or what the next 12 months is going to bring.
I think right now, I think we're in the morning. I mean, we're really in the morning because, I like I said, literally people have gotten behind this, like, surviving 2016, and when I look at it and I say to myself, well, let's really look at some of these people that have died.
Yeah.
A lot of them, are very questionable in the sense of this gives you some kind of a look into lifestyles of what some of these people have lived unhealthy, and how because, like, remember when Tina Marie died?
Yeah.
And Rick James died?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Remember,
no. Nobody was surprised to find Rick James on the floor. There's more people who were surprised that he was still around.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I know what you're saying. These cats,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's all questionable. Yeah. George Michael died peacefully in his sleep. Like, these people is like 60, 54, 50. I mean, these are some young people still,
folks,
dog.
Yeah.
Like, and Carrie Fisher, she, it's well noted. Mental health issues, drug addiction.
You come from a certain era. If you became a celebrity anywhere
there you go.
around the late 70s,
okay,
at least the late 70s. If you was one before one, you was already there.
Yeah.
But people forget too, cocaine was huge
and
in
it was
the 70s
acceptable.
and the 80s.
And it was very acceptable.
So, like, as we've shifted now, and a lot of folks is longer in the tooth and grayer in the hair and the beard, getting they touch-ups and stuff, they kind of forget what it was like back then. Because back in the 70s and 80s, cocaine was just referred to as partying. Like, you weren't even a drug addict if you was doing coke. Cocaine in the 70s, 80s is what marijuana is now. Yeah. Like, it was just socially acceptable amongst, social circles, and tooting one up real quick wasn't a big deal. So if you take a lot of those celebrities who were roughly 60 now, who were famous in the 80s, that's a lot of that. That's a whole lot of that.
Well, at the same time, and then again,
not to disrespect them.
It's not to disrespect them, but heart attacks are triggered by some type of unhealthy behavior, some previous health conditions, and your body takes a toll. I mean, you got to think about it. These entertainers, man, they're heavy on the grind. Yeah. I mean, some of these efforts don't even get no sleep, right?
Especially the musicians.
I'm just saying. I mean, so it is shocking, Glenn Frey, Prince, David Bowie,
Maurice from Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah, it was just like, whoa. It is shocking. But at the same time, we have to also understand that the life they live, they kind of, they made a deal of giving a part of themselves for the lifestyle that they wanted to live, and for the music or the acting that they left us as their legacy. And at the same time, this should be a very much a preview for people about taking their health a lot more seriously, and to stay away from anything that is not supposed to be in your body that's a toxin. And that's not saying that all these people just sat there and did mad coke and popped mad pills. But what we do know, the obvious thing, that there were some real wild times and some real wild days.
There was.
So let's not be foolish.
And then putting all that stuff together too, because just as you'll have Carrie, who passes young, her mama just passed, but her mama was 84.
Yeah.
So, Zsa Zsa Gabor just passed. She was 99.
And the mom from Brady.
Florence
Bunch.
Henderson. You talking about these 80-year-old women.
Yeah.
So just as there was some, I think just more so it's the back to back to back.
And I think, and more so, it was like figures that was legendary in a sense of these shows, these songs, these artists in whatever genre they were, we grew up with.
Yeah, there was a lot of within the same era.
Yes.
So if Debbie Reynolds, who passed today, that was Carrie Fisher's mama, if you knew her, you were very familiar with Florence Henderson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were familiar with George Michael, you're very familiar with Prince.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Prince, you're familiar with Vanity. Like, there's a lot of people who, depending upon how old you are, them dots seem real close together.
Yeah.
But I think that before we get so hung up on what we're going to become and who we're going to be next year and what the next stuff is that getting a good beat on where we're at to move forward. Because
what do you mean where we're at?
Like, as a people, as individuals.
As black people, or just as people?
Well, first off, as individuals.
Wow.
So, because I'm a firm believer that most people go wrong because they have an inability to self-assess.
Yeah.
Most people don't know who they are, like what they have to offer, what they can contribute, what they're doing correctly or not so well. Like, most people just aren't good at self-assessing. So I think that being able to look at where we're at individually, then that works into where we are collectively. Okay. And so, like, a lot of the stuff that goes on, there's, I think a good phrase you said is, survive in 2016 is there's a lot of folks, it's really in a savage survival mode. I mean, people don't know how to be around each other anymore. People don't know how to deal with each other anymore. Don't know how to communicate on damn near any level. There was the, in New York, there was the stabbing. Because the transgender dude who offered up his seat to the woman, and she said that she didn't want to sit next to black people. So as her train stop came, she got off and stabbed dude. Like, they never met each other before, never seen each other in life. He sat there and said, "Hey, do you want my seat?" Because she was a woman. She said, "I don't want to sit next to black people." He literally got up and sat on the other side so she could sit by herself and not be next to him. Train got off. He thought he was being punched at her stop, and then until all of a sudden people rushed over to check to see if he was okay, and because he was bleeding out. You know, they ended up arresting her and charging her. They got her with the hate crime. But this is just like the mindset. To the same dude on the other side of the game, the dude who was driving and saw the woman stranded on the side of the road in the snow. Brother he saw the girl on the side, and he was going to help her till he saw her bumper sticker that she was a Trump supporter. So he said, nah, call your president. Like, hit the end of this, his hashtag, call your president, and just bumped out and left her out there in the snow. Like, this is the state that we're in as people.
We're not in a good state of mind, bro. Because at the same time, I didn't even hear both of these stories, and I'm kind of shocked. The stabbing, it's just sickness versus sickness. But in the same sense, let's look at the road rage incidents that we've had.
Yeah.
You know, people just having these simple arguments, pulling out guns, killing each other.
Yeah.
You know, the incidents that I was saying, like, you know, we got 2 mothers here locally. 2 kids don't have a mother because, you know, some senseless violence, you know what I mean? And regardless of what they might have been connected to, it's like, so we killing moms now? We killing mothers now? You know, it was bad enough that we, you know, kill our kids, but now we killing the mothers now? You know what I'm saying?
The brother who just got killed because he was with his 4-year-old son.
Got stabbed.
Because the kids' music was...
The brothers, they asking whoever...
Was vulgar. He's like...
Chill out with the music if you don't mind.
Well, because he said the content was... Yeah. Well, he had a 4-year-old... He's walking with his 4-year-old... Just for people so they can get it. Framework. Gentleman was walking with his 4-year-old son. Some young Jews was out there bumping their music. It wasn't necessarily the volume. It was the content. So there was a lot of profanity and stuff. So he's like, hey, can you guys turn that down? You know, I don't think this is something that my 4-year-old, you know, could hear. They responded by stabbing him to death in front of his child.
Like who does that, dude?
Like, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, where we're at now. Like, everybody's talking about what next year's going to bring and what, you know, what we going to do in 2017. Where are we at now? Like, these are the behaviors. Like, I don't really think that surviving 16 is real. But if some stuff doesn't get checked, we just going to be trying to survive 17.
Well, I think that in the same content of a lot of things, especially in the black community, as I can look at it, the distrust, the dysfunction, the ignorance, it's celebrated to where, like, when someone does something wrong, whether it's a woman or a man, and we know it's like, you know what I mean, it's not really the right thing to do, regardless of emotions, that we find ourselves allowing it to be and not speaking on it because we're afraid of what the consequences of, like, literally, could you imagine us saying, hey, bro, you mind putting that music down? And what do we get into a brawl because of that?
Yeah, could you turn out there and that little yachty down for a second? I'm in line.
Yeah,
I don't want my son to hear that.
And it's like,
and it turns into what? And it's a scene from American Me.
It's such a for males. It's such a tough guy. I'm the boss. You can't tell me nothing. Yeah. And then it's also for the women. It's just like, you know, bitch, don't say nothing to me. So in both instances, it's both male and women responding on the same kind of level, and it's never been like that compared to what I feel has been the poison of the earth, but it's also been the benefit of a lot of us because we wouldn't get so much information in real time has been social media. So it's almost created an atmosphere. I think it really started with reality TV shows when people who are in these reality TV shows who are nobodies became instant celebrities, right? Yeah. And then now you have people that are now becoming instant celebrities on social media.
Yeah, Instagram stars.
And all that BS, right? And then what it does, it spews out to where when certain individuals on lecture circuits or giving out information, they do certain things that cannot be questioned because they've raised up the bar of consciousness or they've raised up the bar of understanding for people that didn't really know certain things.
Yeah.
And now they become so egotistical where Negroes cannot get checked because their egos is way up in the sky, and that people have poured the ego, you know what I'm saying? They've gassed up the ego so much that they feel that it can do no wrong.
Well, see, that's right up there with the inability to self-assess. That if you believe you to be a certain person just because that's what you believe, you know, if you walk around thinking that you're always right, that should give you a sign right there. Like, if you think that can't nobody tell me nothing, big me, little you, you know what I mean? Like, if that's the mindset that you're in, you're already flawed from jump. And I mean, we have a big problem out here with that, with not being able to.
Not us.
Well, We'll talk first off about not
the black community,
not being able to quote unquote check each other, and then not willing to. Like, it's one thing even if you was allowed to, there'd be no backlash. Most of us just don't even do it.
Or the way we go about feeling that we are checking the person, because criticism is not hate. Criticism is criticism, and I feel everyone is due to it. I'm due to it, you due to it, whatever. We all due for it. Yeah. But what I've learned in 2016, I've never seen, and this is, and I'm not going to even talk about the females. It's coming from a male perspective to males. Yeah. Negroes that have been so sensitive, so emotional, have used social media as a bitch fest, call you out, try to shake some trees, and try to punk you fest, right? Yeah. And in the same sense that Negroes have been so egotistical and so petty. I've never seen men behave in such manners of this, like certain teenage attitudes and behaviors that I would sit there and tell my teenage daughter, like, yo, you ain't supposed to act like that. I've never witnessed it front page, like men actually being like this. And it's happened more often than less. And I've had it where certain men have posted up things about me. You know what I'm saying? And it's corny. It's like, yo, this is the corniest stuff. If you got an issue with me, holler at me, especially if you know me. But when you go out trying to just discredit individuals who are really doing certain things that you do, I have a problem with that. If you're giving out information, because I had a little situation with one of these clown Negroes who spews hatred on the internet, but he has a followers, and I'm not going to even speak his name because it's not important. But he got checked by another brother just this past month, and I'm gonna let that be that. You can figure it out yourself. Like, when I put out my thing about the brother, it was like, yo, I'm just trying to let you guys know this brother is not good for the community. Yeah. Now, brothers that are doing good for the community, that are really doing work and putting in work, I feel like it should be a moment when, if we have these kind of situations, that we sit back and we conversate with each other like men. But when it gets to the point where we're sitting there, orchestrating all these subliminal messages, orchestrating these public, diss YouTube videos or you gotta remember, that, it gets to be clown shit, man.
Soulja Boy just went to jail for that. So
Soulja Boy went to jail for being an ignorant ass silly nigga.
But I'm saying, making the videos and taking his beef to YouTube, and he had
created beefs. There was no beefs. Creating beefs.
But I'm saying along the lines of that is that he had weapons in the video, which was apparently a form of a violation. He got to court and changed his tune because he was telling the judge, I'm too small to go to jail. They'll pass me around like a blunt. Like he's like I'm like 5'6", 140 something.
And here's the other thing. Who are we trying to be? Like, I don't even take Negroes seriously when they rant, rave, and publicly do this. It's like Negroes be on this hit 'em up Tupac shit until you get hit up. And now you're not on that Tupac shit. You get what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, I really like watching the fuckery on the silly Negro named Soulja Boy, who shouldn't even get a mention. It's the most unfortunate and disgusting display of a little rich young boy who got money too fast with nobody in his ear and no parental guidance whatsoever. It's just everybody saying, well, hey, Soldier, can you give me that check?
Well, because the problem is that, when you become a millionaire at 17, woo, and you don't come from money, realistically, what are you going to tell somebody? Because if your mom or dad or grandma or aunt or uncle, and the first thing you want to do is pull their coat and pull them aside and regulate, they're one birthday away from not having to run anything past you. So if you decide then that you want to tell 17-year-old, you want to start telling him what's what and try to check him. If he don't like what he hears, he turns 18 and bounce, and your gravy train is gone. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of folks who are just kind of like, I don't agree with him, but I ain't going to say nothing.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem we have. And then in the same sense of, yeah, you don't have to agree with them, but how do you have to relay the message? And I think that the messages that we're relaying, because it's like with a lot of the fuckery that's been going on within the last few months, it's like, one, who do you believe? Two, who can you take seriously? And three, It's like it's a challenge for us and just for black folk to really realistically get out of the dump that we're in because everyone is throwing in more trash.
Yeah, when we're talking about looking at where we're at, it's the idea of not being able to check each other, not being in spaces to where we can have a disagreement and talk it out.
Check each other. Let's make sure we're saying that, because we don't want to say check each other and people think, well, you guys said we could check each other.
Well, no,
people take it out of context.
But that's what I said. When I say check each other, that's have a disagreement about whether the way that something was done, the way that something was said, the way it's practiced, or whatever. Like if you're doing something that, just in my personal opinion, I think it isn't cool. Like the way that you're going about it, I don't even come at people talking about you're doing this wrong. I come at people like, how can we do this differently? Because the result that we're getting based upon the way that you're doing it is not beneficial to anybody. So instead of saying, oh, you wrong for that, you stupid for this, you this and that, let's just say, hey, look, based the way you currently doing it, it's not effective. It's causing more problems than good. It's not working out. It's rubbing folks the wrong way. We're creating issues that weren't there before you did what you did. Yeah. So the same issue is there, but now we got new issues.
And why not be big enough not to respond to it?
So, but I'm saying, there's a lot of folks who get in their feelings. And we're in an era, that's what I'm saying, we're looking at where we're at and assessing. Like I said, you tell some young kids, can you turn the music down? That turns into a young boy is now fatherless. A woman who, because of her view of black people, took being offered a seat. like it went from 0 to 100. Like it wasn't even like name calling back and forth. It was the idea that this dude had the audacity to address her. You know what I mean? Like there was another report in school where a young man was assaulting this Muslim woman. And kept trying to pull her wrap off. I don't want to disrespect and call it by the wrong name. Yeah. But the wrap on her head. And he kept trying to pull it off and was just socking her. Like in the hallway. Like just headshot. She fell to the ground. He kicked her in the face. Two things three things. One, he was doing it. Like this dude was big. She wasn't, he was fighting a woman. Number two, there were dudes who could be seen in the camera shot. Number three, it sounded like it was being recorded by a man.
And that's the shit I don't like. Mother effers want to always record their grievances or record fuckery or put that shit out there. Like, stop it. Like don't record it. Stop it.
Stop it. Why are you're recording a woman being assaulted?
Come on, man.
And no part of you thinks I should stop dude from doing it.
I'm just going to keep on recording.
Well, because it was a dude when he was kicking her when he was down, you could hear dude tell, all right, that's enough. Like, hey, all right, chill. Like when two dudes fight and a dude goes down and he's already knocked out and they keep hitting him. All right, hey, lay off. He was talking like that to a woman being assaulted. Like, I mean, everybody going to talk about what they're going to be in the next year and what changes they're going to have in the world. You're going to have to learn how to self-assess where you're at today. Like, you can't sit there and act like all this mess is not real, is not happening, that people ain't out here just wilding out for no reason. No. That the disconnect, the lack of communication, the lack of empathy, the lack of trust, like all that stuff ain't going to just go away because the calendar date changes.
Nah.
Because you changed the last digit on the year.
Nah.
So
if anything, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, because people are really thinking like when it goes from December 31st to January 1st, like you ran a marathon and broke tape.
Not at all.
Like you just finished the Boston Marathon and you just ran through and you broke tape and like, ooh, it's over.
That's what I love about it, though. I love it. I love that people have that concept in their mind, like the year change, I change. It's a new. What is that? Like new me.
New year, new me. Like because you just made it through the next calendar year. That all of a sudden, all your situation, your money's gonna be better. Your family's gonna be better.
Like your herpes is gonna go away from being. Oh wait. 2016, I had herpes. I go to 2017.
Oh, yeah, your HPV disappear. Your herpes is gone. Your credit gets fixed. All of a sudden, there's money in your bank account.
Wish, yo.
Child support go away.
Yes, I really wish it was that easy, that shit. We could start fresh.
Start fresh.
In 2017. But here's the reality. You're not starting fresh.
No.
If you came in being a fuckboy in 2016, you're going to be a fuckboy in 2017. And I don't mean to use so much explicit language, but it's really... gets on my nerves, and I hate that we're going to even have to talk about some of the things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, because I don't want to give no attention to it. But you and I both know, to get some attention on Say Something, we got to say something, because if we don't say something, you guys ain't going to tune in and won't say nothing. Yeah. And that's just how the world works. Our world works on, even if it's negative, if it's the more negative, the more outlandish it is. It doesn't matter it's coming from what figure. Yeah. It will have us talking for a moment, maybe a few days, maybe a week, maybe even a month, because that's how Donald Trump's movement started. It started with fuckery, and it all created into a movement that was petitioned, laid down by the media, not by the Trump supporters. It was the media that created that
marketing
movement.
of advertising. They'll tell you first and foremost, there's no such thing as bad press. All press is good press.
Unless you're a black person.
Well, no, I mean, if you're talking for whatever.
Unless you're a black person.
Depends on what your thing is.
I don't agree. Unless you're a black person, it always goes south eventually. I just white people can get away with it because of their privilege, but I just haven't seen too many black people in celebrity status having those moments of bad press, whether it's P. Diddy to Dr. Dre. They've all had those moments of bad press, and they're on top right now. Kobe Bryant being one, but it's stagnant in their career, where it's like, here's for instance, the white guy on Seven Heaven, right?
Yeah.
He was, dude, there is like tape recording.
A sexual predator. Child molesting, sexual
the whole bit.
Pedophile.
Has he gone through what Bill Cosby's gone through?
Nope. But the reason we're talking about all press being good press is if you're trying to stay relevant to something. So it's not necessarily can things be detrimental to your career. It's like, somebody talk about me. Kim Kardashian.
But is negativity relevant now, though, bro?
Yeah.
But I think with Kim Kardashian is a whole different thing. I think she has such a strong brand.
Well, no. Her brand is built off of
it don't matter, huh?
Of being on tape, taking it from Ray J. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the basis. But I mean, if you take a Kanye, all press is good press. You can call Kanye crazy, you can call him a genius, you can call him musically talented, but as long as his name is in the search box, as long as he's in your Googles, he's
But
good.
I think where it comes, and I think that we got to really look at this level of when we talk about where are we going to be.
Yeah.
What has happened in 2016, we could say it started even in 2014, but it revved up even more in 2016, is this new level of consciousness, right, in the black community, right?
Okay.
So the idea of being like more awoke, people say I'm awake.
Yeah.
Black pride, black power, black excellence, black businesses, people from the hoodest of the hood to the corporate of the corporate to the elite of the elites. There's a lot of individuals that have turned a new leaf to this, right? When you have right now two predominant brothers right now feuding, and they ranted heavy, and the internet's been going crazy over it. I think in those moments where you're considered to be some scholar, and when you have a scholar by your name, whether it's doctor or you have just inherently said, I bestow myself as a scholar of all because I've studied, people look and expect different reactions from you. So with negative press may be the downfall of your empire or whatever you're creating. Because when people listen to you give knowledge to individuals, right, the knowledge of ignorance, and they listen to you, and now you become just as ignorant as the people you're saying, or they said that we don't need to be like, I think that it throws some darts, and we could go in deeper with that.
Well, first, that's different than what I'm talking about for all press being good press. Because when you're trying to sell, when you're trying to be out there, well, here's the thing too, though. Like, so talking about the two gentlemen who were feuding over whatever.
Some of the stuff that people say on the internet is dude. It's
So, but
no punches left.
Without even fully going into what it is and what they're doing, one gentleman it's become detrimental a little bit to where his position is, The other one, I guarantee you, more people know who he is today than by a large number than who he was yesterday.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to all press being good press, it depends upon where you are. So I'm not even throwing the names out there because I'm hoping this is something that can go away.
Go and say their names.
But I mean, well, because one of the gentlemen I know, the other one I've never heard of. So before
but how much do you really know?
I mean, in the sense of had conversations and know who the person is, enough respect to where I wouldn't fully speak on details of something that I don't know. I don't know what the beef is about. I don't know what the issue is.
You're still trying to hold on right now. That's what
it is I'm trying to not throw a log on the fire. But the important part that is to me about the two is that if your platform and your whole presence is I'm here to be what's missing. I'm here to represent that growth, that knowledge, that understanding.
Yes.
I'm here to be that gateway into a better space from where we currently are. Then it doesn't mean that you're beyond reproach. It doesn't mean that you're saintly and that you're never going to make mistakes. But there are some judgment calls that you should make. I get it. Somebody can piss you off in traffic. Yeah. Somebody can catch you on a wrong day, come out of a movie theater. But if you make it a point to set up your camera and have it, because the one video I saw one gentleman, it's 45 minutes long. Like it's 45, and then what most people are talking about is about the 4 minute, about 4 minutes in where he really starts going off on it. But he made it a point to have a presentation to address another gentleman.
And when you saw it, I think he had notes and he was flipping a page.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like at that stage, this is not a question of you woke up and you had a flat tire, they were doing construction, so your power got shut off or your water was shut off, your dog got sick. Like, it wasn't a series. It wasn't like Michael Douglas and Falling Down, where you just had a series of events and somebody just caught you at 6 o'clock on a bad day at a bad time and you just went left on them. This was like you woke up wanting to do this. Like, you got dressed for this. Yeah. Like, you picked out an outfit that you wanted to go to YouTube with. Like, that type of behavior is what we need to get away from, especially if that's the position that you're going to take. But when I talk about where we are, your inability to self-assess, because you're speaking on this type of behavior as if it's them over there, not us over here. Yeah. You know, and I think that we got to start being mindful of what we really doing. Because I think if you ask we take all these situations, the dude who was assaulting that woman, you take the woman who stabbed the dude on the train, the dude who drove past the woman who was stuck in the snow, you talk about the kids who 2 minutes before they had the issue with the man with his son, none of them thought they were that person. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you asked them right before the incident, they would probably say that they were standing on some kind of high ground. Oh, he came over here disrespecting me, acting like I was a punk, telling me to shut my stuff off like I ain't nobody. You know, he came up to me, you know how black people are, they do this, that, whatever, you know, and this and that. Like, they'll find some judgment to stand on that what their actions were okay. You know, that inability to self-assess is huge. You know, not knowing where you actually are standing, like what side of the fence that you're actually on. Because as we're talking about moving forward, if you're talking about a new year and making changes, if you don't know where you are, how the hell are you going to try to get to where you say you're going?
Well, I think people falsely think that they're on this pedestal. And I think that becomes a huger issue when we're talking about all these incidents, and then we're talking about the two brothers that are in this you know, as when people like to call it, the Hotep Wars, or egomania, or whatever else you want to call it. It's just a false sense of their own reality. And again, it's when you allow... My whole thing is, once outbursts like this start coming out all of a sudden, because you're always going to have naysayers. You're always going to have critics. You're always going to have haters. You're always going to have people that disagree with you. But when you put yourself in these positions to be a big target, I feel like there's certain ways that you should be able to handle your business. And like I say, again, the relationship that I have with one of the brothers, I met both of them, you know what I'm saying? And I've probably discussed more things with one. And in my own personal assessment, I've dealt with one more than the other one. And I've seen certain things that I keep to myself that I've kind of saw when some other things have come out. I already peep game because, you know, real recognize real. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, when you've been around the corner, been around the blocks, you're not game goofy on certain things. Yeah. So my whole thing is, from one side, the one brother he truly started off with the cursing and the vulgarity. That's his thing. That's his gimmick. That's his movement.
Yeah.
The other was more on an intellectual, elitist kind of more intelligent scholar base.
Yeah.
Less cussing, some for shock value, but not allowing naysayers to kind of get to his they were in the rear view, not in his front,
Yeah.
right? Now it seems like the more esteem, the more following, and Negroes change up when 1 minute they say, okay, you can pay me this amount to come out. Now it's this amount. Negroes is hot, right?
Yeah.
Once you start allowing your ego to get bigger than the movement or bigger than yourself, and then you start like not caring about other individuals, because as long as you got these people that are following you like you're a messiah, you're going to say what you're going to want to say because people are going to love you anyway. I think that's corny.
Well, I think issue happened with Bill Cosby. When Bill Cosby was loved and TV, family, dad, and all that, then when he started doing his speaking tours, and somebody who was very familiar with systemic oppression, like if you start watching Bill's videos from the 70s.
No, dude, like when you see that video, then you see what he was doing, you're like, what?
For some people that don't know, in case you hear this, you probably find it on YouTube. Bill used to pick apart the systematic oppression through the school system, through the judicial, like Bill was on it. Fist in the air, strong with the afro. Like, Bill was on it.
But then he got that money.
He got some network money, some TV money, some following, some book deals. He slanged all that stuff out. Then he's all of a sudden talking about black people shouldn't talk about this, and why were you doing that? And, like, all the other external factors were no longer there. That inability to self-assess. After a while, you reach a point to where you don't know where you are, what you're standing on, what you're standing for. Yeah. And let's just say you're not even somebody who's on a big platform. Mm-hmm. You're not somebody who's got a huge following. You just Joe Schmo on the street. You just Susan B. Nobody who works, at the corner store. If you can't properly self-assess and you don't know where you are and what you're doing, all the stories you talk about, like the subway, the dude who drove past, these aren't famous people. Yeah. These are average, everyday folks who are altering the lives of everyone they come across. Because like the dude who left the chick out in the snow, he put that stuff up on the internet. Oh, saw this car stranded. Saw you was a Trump supporter. You need to call your president. And that turned into you always go to tell time. You want to check the racial climate of America, go to the comment section. Damn. And so hundreds and hundreds of comments going back and forth of just racial slurs and teachings and stuff. Thousands of people impacted by that one decision by two people who nobody knew anybody who was.
He could have left that alone and not said nothing.
Easily. So I'm saying, when you talk about moving forward and going into the new year and these resolutions and all that, it's important to know who you are, like where you really at.
But it's also important for us to peep game to who these people are showing us who they are.
Yeah.
Because in the same kind of sense, like, we're looking and we're seeing, oh, this is how you are. Because you don't all of a sudden turn Hulk Hogan-ish, turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin all of a sudden.
Yeah. And you don't just start beating women.
And I understand that maybe the brother has been provoking. I understand that. But in my sense, like when I've had certain clown, as I call them, silly Negroes, throw out certain subliminal posts and stuff like that, I could have killed their asses on it. I could have really went in there and said, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But I just killed them with the work that I'm doing. And now what I feel is that you're just opening yourself up for more criticism, more scrutiny. Like, let them suckers be who they are and let them do their thing, especially if they're not being volatile in the community, and especially if they're not really stopping anything that you're doing. I just look at it and I'll just be like, oh, bruh, like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what to say. Every man feels how they want to feel, but you got to understand in the moment that we're in as black people, we keep hearing these people tell us about white supremacy. You are giving the white supremacist all of the power, all of the tools, and having him have a laughable moment saying, this is y'all leadership? Well, that's like, this is what y'all are sitting there holding your guns with, holding your money with, holding your life with, is people that can't even get along with themselves or even know how to articulate. And I know you're about to say something, but I take offense when we're saying we're trying to uplift the kings, we're trying to uplift the kings, we're trying to show images of strong black males to young boys and young women, and then you go on a tirade trying to speak down on people when it's really not that serious. You can make a mockery of somebody without personally taking into retrospect their size, their height, their weight, you know what I'm saying, their skin color. You're doing all of the same things you're preaching that we should not be doing, the preaching that we are doing to ourselves. You're doing it on a platform and then using the N-word, the B. It's like, come on, bro. Like, let's get a hold of ourselves and let's be the doctor, scholar that you say you are, and let's just kill the brother or sister, whoever comes with the negativity, with that articulate, that passionate, that sharp way, instead of going in to that Negro box that has created a lot of the violence that has been on the streets. Because let me tell you something, them same kids in Chicago, that's what they do. They go on their little rant on YouTube and blah, 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 but with guns, and guess what? Some mother effer comes up missing and dead. That's how serious that is. So if we cannot be in a situation to where, as men, let's just talk about the men, as men, if I have a disagreement with you, I can't pick up the phone, I can't call you, text you, or if it can't be resolved in that nature, have someone else come in and just not respond. Or if I'm going to respond, or I'm going to make a YouTube, I'm going to make a YouTube in a sense where it's in my character. You going in there, it's like, what did this dude do that was so disrespectful, unless it was some kind of truth in it? Because a lot of times when people react to that nature, there's certain truths that he's saying about the persons that it's making a person feel that there's some pressure. So you have to react like that, because a lot of times if you don't react or say nothing, people will believe that you have something to hide.
So yeah, that's there's a few things in there. So it's
being clear, man.
I get it, but we also have to make sure that we put it in spaces to where people can get what these individual points are. Because one thing that's important is that when it talks about what we do within a community on what we want to put forward and the type of images and the type of people that we want to say this is who we are, not what other people say we are. When it comes to addressing, you talk about, systematic oppression and stuff that goes on in this country. We talked about it a little bit before we did the show, that a lot of it is autopilot now. And so where other groups can't quite get some of our concerns, because as much as we say that the hands are in everything that we're trying to do, other groups don't see it, because the reality of it is more of it is done within our community. And then the external hands just kind of keep it in the box. So when we get opportunities to grow together and we have prominent people in our community who are starting to help us get in the education system, getting us in our business and finance, those positions and those followings, that really means something, because they're few and far between. So when there's issues about, how we handle stuff, arguments, whatever, it really needs to be handled correctly. We need to have models of possibility on how to diffuse situations, have conflict resolution that don't have to become volatile, that don't have to become, let's take it on YouTube. Because like you said, the folks in Chicago, as of the year's not even over yet, and they're at over 750, over 750 murders in that. And the city of Chicago, though there's a lot of people, it's not, most people have a bad gauge. It's not the city of Chicago. It's a part of the city of Chicago. So we're not talking about this. Now, some of those murders do apply to the other sides of town, but the bulk that they're talking about is in a confined space. This is where there's no conflict resolution. This is where those leadership and those prominent roles are necessary. Seeing people who have an issue and resolve them without getting on some stupid, silly stuff.
So when you see, and this is the thing about what we've always talked about, the roles of men, the roles of women, when a child looks at what they're supposed to be and all they're seeing is, drug dealers, pimps, gangsters, and just guys that are just not handling their business, women that are not handling their business, what do you think they're going to go gravitate to? You know what I'm saying? In these cities, in these unrural areas that have been definitely desecrated with white supremacy, but now kind of been downgraded even more by our ignorance of black ignorance, right? Because we fall for the trap. When you have someone that I'm saying here, brother, listen to this, brother. Right? Okay, the kid's getting into it. Like, all right, man, cool. I don't want to listen to Fetty Wap no more, or Chief Keef, or whoever.
Yeah.
But then they come back to you like, wait a minute, man, that guy you let me listen to,
he's saying the exact same stuff.
Look at what he listened right here.
Yeah.
You gotta like, it's almost like the reason why R&B was great back in the day compared to it right now, because R&B and rap had no coexistence together. You once in a while have an R&B artist with the rap artist doing some kind of
era,
collaborating, but then when it got too much of like each other, similar, you now got Trey Songz and Chris Brown sounding like what Bobby Brown probably really wanted to sound like, but Babyface is like, no, we can't go that way, right? And now you got the R&B artists sounding like the rappers. So it's just like, well, he says these hoes ain't loyal, and Lil Wayne is saying these hoes ain't loyal. Well, hey, there's no love that I could get, no love music I could get from any of these artists because everyone's saying the same thing. So if everyone is saying the same ignorance, what are our kids going to follow? What are our adults going to follow? They're going to follow ignorance. If you continue to show them, well, this is how I handle conflict, rah, 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 just like a reality TV show, Love and Hip Hop, well, the kids are going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We have to model different. And it doesn't matter. And I don't want to hear excuses from people about, well, everyone has flaws. I got flaws. I don't try to make myself be perfect. I ain't shit on a lot of things. I let that be known. But I'm not going to try to create a character that is perfect in the eyes of those who are imperfect, that try to get to this perfection, because that's what we want. We want saviors. So we're indoctrinated in whoever comes and says a hot line for that moment. And, oh, Jesus, you've brought the Messiah. So Negroes catch on to that when the black man or woman is a little bit ignorant and don't know because they did the time to do the research and they figure that, damn, I can get paid off that. And I'll talk about that in a later date about breaking it really down, because if we really want to get serious about this situation, right, I don't want to put it out there and kind of bash brothers, because I love what brothers are doing. You know what I'm saying? I respect what brothers are doing on a certain extent, but I'm not waiting for these brothers to sit there and drop the mother load in a plan for me. I'm creating the plan with brothers like you and with sisters in my neighborhood, right? Yeah. I just look at it as in a responsible stance of black unity. When you brothers have that shine, you sisters that have that spotlight, you have to take that and really hold that endearingly, because we have had so many leaders. We have had Malcolm X and Martin Luther King disagree, to not agree. But then when you saw in the last context of their lives, what did they do? They're like, dude, we're better together than we are apart. Let's kind of try to figure out how we can mobilize together. And before they could really get it done, they were dead. And the same thing is happening right now. I'm not saying brothers need to go ahead and have a peace treaty or sit back and say, hey, we need to all get along. But in the same content, be aware that the supremacists are watching. People that don't believe in this conscious movement that is waking people up are watching. And if you really care about your foundation and your community, the children are watching. We have to do better in that moment. Not saying to be perfect, but when you make rants and you guys are sounding like an old Tupac hit 'em up song, when you're sounding like a LL Cool J, Kool Moe Dee diss record, and when you're approaching it on some comical WWE kind of stuff, and then you're trying to put it on, we can debate, and then we're all like, wait a minute, now cats want to debate, so now we got to pay for the debate. It's just so many different things that I'm just saying, like, come on, good Lord, we are impoverished. We are lacking education. We are being gentrified on all levels. You know what I'm saying? We are being lynched. We have our own wars in our communities for other things. The time is not for Negroes, especially the men, to get on these YouTube rants against each other, breaking the community, separating us even more, and letting the supremacists look and laugh and said, here you Negroes don't go again.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and a big part of that is going to be, understanding where we are as individuals, our place within our communities, within our families, our households, that what we do, how we handle things, how we address each other, all that stuff matters. Like that sometimes if you have a huge platform, or maybe you just the man of your house, maybe you're the big brother, Maybe you don't even have kids, you're not married, but there's kids in the neighborhood who look up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere that you go, understanding that you are a standard, that you are a staple, that you are representative. How you carry yourself matters. What you do, how you interact with other people matters. Because we have a lot of people who, we have these issues in the streets. We have these issues with violence. We have these issues with just lack of compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
You may not be the type of person that hits somebody, but you're the type of person who can walk past somebody getting hit.
Yeah.
You may not be the person who stabs somebody in front of their kids, but you're the person who's filming someone getting stabbed.
How can we be taken seriously if we don't take ourselves serious?
Yes. So when it comes to the different things that we see in this community, the stuff that we see in our families, and then importantly, the stuff that we see in ourselves, there are things that have to be brought to the light, that have to be addressed, and the things that we have to say something about.
Say something, say something, say something. The new year, 2017. Before we go, what is your one resolution?
What resolution?
Oh, you don't do that.
No.
I just wanted to catch you, see if you do it, because I don't do it either. Because if I'm not going to do presents, I'm not going to do this whole, yes, and I'm going to lose 60 pounds, even though I probably might need to, but I don't do it.
Yeah, I don't do anything for the new year. The only thing that changes is my tax forms. That's the only thing that changes in the new year. That's it. So where can folks find you in the new year with social media stuff?
Same place, man. Same place. Like I said, I'm trying to get back on Twitter. Heavy Berry Accius on Twitter. BerryAccius. Facebook, same thing. Black Blueprints. Hit that page up, and also hit up the Team Void. We got a whole bunch of different things coming in the new year. I'm gonna be in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, in March. I'm excited about that. Fort Wayne, Indiana in March. So, I'll have more information about that. And, I'm going to keep on striving, man. Keep doing my thing, Hit me up, people. Trollers, come on. Holler. Haters, holler.
I'm Jermaine Morris on Facebook. Every other social media platform is at JMorrisCEO. And any parting words as we close out for the year? This is the end. This is the last one of 2016.
We doing overtime right now. I just hope that, whatever craziness, was going on, especially with the two brothers, that, like I said, I have a respect level for what the brothers are doing. Everyone's not perfect. And I just hope that Negroes are paying attention to, like, the set format and understand that you are hot now and you could be cold tomorrow and no one will know you the next day, right? We got to pay attention to that. And I think that with a lot of our new line scholars, that nothing they're giving as far as information is really truly new. It's just that they have a platform, more charismatic, and some certain brothers have a swagger about themselves, because a lot of the brothers, Dr. Clark and so many others, Dr. Ben, who were here before, and nobody came to really see them, to gain the knowledge. No one really cared as much. And they were very old, and we didn't have the kind of technology that we had. You know what I'm saying? So don't forget that all of you brothers have learned from someone to get the information. Ain't nothing that you created, or ain't nothing what you're saying is brand new. The approach may be different, but you got it from someone else. And if you really look at these videos, you can be like, a lot of the styles that these brothers got are from other people. They were able just to take it in its real time, be able to unify information and get their own twist and spin on it and swagger and put it out there. So let's really be in tune to that.
Last few words on that.
I just had to, man, because I got to. Because I'm just saying, people ask me my opinion on it, so I'm going to say it, and I don't want people to I don't want it to be, because the thing about it with sensitive Negroes, and I hope Negroes ain't like that, it's like you can say something about it, and it's like, you didn't support me, and now we're exiled to the point. And I don't think that should be like that.
Nah, we are supportive. We are supportive of our brothers and sisters out there, and it's not even a question of saying something on the fact of what type of man or type of woman you are. It's just simply a suggestion on maybe going about things a little bit different.
That's it, man.
That's it. So I'm here with Berry Accius.
Yes, sir.
Jermaine Morris.
Yes, sir.
Until the next time, next show.
2017,
it'll
baby.
be next year. We'll holler at you later.